Welcome back to class. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with our inward figure 8, just like this. And when I say so, we're going to go ahead and just lift it up and switch and use the other hand. Ready? Switch. And switch. Try to keep it small. Switch. Switch. Notice I'm switching my legs each time I do this. You don't have to do that. It's just kind of a preference that I like to do. Switch. 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 Now we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to do it with an outward figure 8. So as we do our outward figure 8, I'll tell you to switch, and what I want you to do is I want you to trap it under the arm, raise it up, front switch, and then we're going to continue on to the other side. So the switching is a little bit longer in this one, but again, it's just trapping it under the arm, simple up, front switch, and then we're going to go. So go ahead and get started. Practice your outward figure 8. Again, we're trying to make it small. I'm not flipping my wrist over or swinging my entire arm. I just have a small little circle. And switch. I'm holding it in my middle grip right now. And switch. 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 And sometimes you might have it where you accidentally hit your knuckles. That's fine. Just keep going. Don't worry about it. Guarantee I've done it more times than you have. And switch. 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 Try to pick up the pace a little bit. Switch. 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 Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to start off, I'm going to use my right hand. You can use either side. We'll be switching and I'll let you know when to. But we're going to start off with an inward figure 8. And then when I say so, I'm going to say outward, and we're just going to lift it up, and we're going to go outward. And then when I say inward, we're going to drop it down, catch it under, and then we're going to make it to inward. So we're going to use the same hand, but we're going to be changing which type of figure 8 that we're going to be using. So we're starting out with our inward figure 8, just like this, and outward. Raise it up, and then just shoot it back going outwards. Inwards. Outward. Inward. Outward. In. Out. Hopefully your forearms are starting to feel this some. The faster you go with this, the more you're going to have, your forearms are going to start really feeling it. In. And switch arms. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to raise it up, and we're going to do a circle, and then we're going to do our front switch. So we're just going to do our front switch, but we're adding a circle in there. So as I drop it down, a circle on the outside, circle on the outside. So it's inward circle on the outside in between our front switches. So front switch looks like this. There's no circle, but we're just going to add a circle. Just like this. If you mess up and you're like, oh, what's going on the inside, that's fine. Lift back up. It's basically the exact same thing as me doing my inward figure 8 and then switching, except for I'm not going to the inside now. I'm only having one circle on the outside. But if you accidentally mess up, do an inward figure 8 and just keep going along with me. It's okay. We all make mistakes, especially with nunchucks. Mistakes happen. It's okay. It's a flailing weapon, makes it a little bit more difficult to control than most other weapons. If you want to add a few circles and lift it up, that's fine too. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start with our inward figure 8. Whichever hand, so my right hand is holding the nunchuck, that's the foot that's going to be in front for this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my inward figure 8, and then when I tell you to, you're going to do a side strike. So as we're doing this, I'm going to raise it up towards my outside, and then not directly to the front. I'm actually going to look off to this side. I'm going to turn my body, side strike, go all the way through, bring it back underneath, and then drop it right back down in the front. So we're going to do our side strike off to the side. So if I'm facing you right now, as I say strike, we're going to go that direction, and I come right back here. Notice I'm doing a little bit of a lunge. As I lift this up, I'm going. I'm not just staying in the same place and just turning. I'm lunging just a little bit, moving forward with this, as if I'm actually doing a strike, trying to hit something. So go ahead and get started doing our inward figure 8. Again, you can practice on either side if you want. I'm starting on my right side. And when I say strike, we're going to look to our side, and we're going to do a side strike. Ready? Strike. Just make sure you cock that up over the shoulder. Strike. And then go all the way through with it. Strike. Catch it back underneath that armpit. Strike. Holding it in the middle grip right now. Strike. 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 Once you get a nice power behind that strike. 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 And now we're going to go ahead and switch sides. So now, notice I'm holding it in my left hand, and my left foot is the one that's in front. Strike. 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 Make sure we turn our hip as we're throwing these strikes. Just like any punch, kick, anything that we do in martial arts, we turn our hip to get more power. It's the same thing with the nunchucks. Strike. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of the same thing, but a little bit different. So we're going to start with our outward figure eight, just like this. And then when I say strike, you're going to catch it under, and you're going to slide forward, and you're going to do a front strike. Remember, the front strike doesn't cock all the way around like this. Front strike goes forward and then turns. So we're doing our outward figure eight, just like this. And whenever I say strike, catch it underneath, move forward, just a slight little lunge as we're doing this. I catch it, and I do my front strike, and I catch it right back underneath again. Ready? Go ahead. Outward figure eight. And strike. So you might, after you do that front strike and you catch it here, you're going to have to raise it up again to throw that outward figure eight. Unlike before, how we just dropped it back down for the inward, this one we have to raise it back up to go to the outward. Strike. 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 I want you to try to go as fast as you can as soon as you hear me say strike. 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 And switch sides. So same thing. Outward figure eight. As soon as I say strike, catch it under. Front strike, raise it up, and back towards our outward figure eight. Ready? Strike. 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 Remember, don't try to bring it down on this side and then do the strike. You want to bring it so that you catch it underneath. Strike. 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 Try to get that reaction time. Strike. 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 All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to add a little bit more onto our Blitz Kata. So remember with our Blitz Kata, start, bow, present, get into our ready stance. We're going to step forward with our left, side strike, turn into a back stance, raise up, side swing, back to the front. Now we're going to raise it up, outward figure eight strike, front strike, raise up, switch, back foot turns to the left, outward figure eight. Now we're going to step through, front strike, raise it up. My right foot, my back foot, goes and moves into a horse stance. As I raise it up, I do a switch, so now it's on my right side. Outward figure eight, front strike, raise it up, step forward, switch, just like this. So now it's on my left, and I'm in a left forward stance. We're going to go ahead and start over from there. I'm going to turn my back to you so you can go ahead and practice this along with me. So we bow, we get ready. We're going to step forward with our left, cock it out to our right, strike, bring it around. We're in a back stance, raise it up, left front stance, side swing around. Now we're back into this back stance. We're going to raise it up, outward figure eight strike, front strike, up, switch, back foot comes across, we're in a right forward stance, outward figure eight, step forward, left forward stance, front strike. Raise it up, so it's raised up over my left shoulder, my right foot moves back as I do a front switch, outward figure eight strike, front strike, raise it up, step forward with the left, put it over the left shoulder, just like this. Again, prepare, cock it over the right shoulder, side strike, back stance, up, step through, forward stance, back stance, inward figure eight. Raise it up, outward front strike, raise up, switch, right foot moves across, outward figure eight, step through, front strike, raise it up, switch as we go into our horse stance, outward figure eight strike, front strike, simple up, step, just like this. Good. I'm going to demonstrate one more time from the front. And cock it out, strike, turn, raise up, down, inward figure eight, raise it up, look to the left, outward figure eight strike, front strike, up, switch, outward figure eight, front strike, raise it up, as I switch, outward figure eight, front strike, simple up, switch, just like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to step across with my back foot. So my right foot goes across, I turn, outward figure eight, strike, just like that. Now I'm going to go up, and I'm going to switch. Step forward to the left, outward figure eight, strike. So let's go ahead, and we're going to do it all again. Facing the front, that way you get to see that as we're coming back. Ready? Strike, bring it back, raise it up, go through, outward figure eight, front strike, up, switch, other side, outward figure eight, step through, front strike, up, switch, outward figure eight, front strike, raise it up, step, turn, outward figure eight strike. Feet come together as I switch. I step forward with my left into a left front stance, outward figure eight strike. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to step through, front strike. Now as my left leg comes up again, I switch again. So notice this happens each time my left leg comes up, I switch my arms. Now I'm going to go outward figure eight strike, front strike. All these have my left foot in front. Raise it up, front switch, around the neck, up, switch, right foot comes in, and that's going to be the end. So let's go ahead and just do that ending part of the kata. So as I turned, I was here, I have my right foot in front, I did a left outward figure eight. So I'm here, I step across with my right leg, left outward figure eight. Now I'm going to step up together, switch, left foot steps forward. Now I step through, front strike with the right. Now I step up together and out, left leg's in the front. Do outward figure eight, front strike, raise it up, switch, side strike around the neck, raise it up, switch, right leg comes up as I push it out. So I bring this here, bring it in front, and push it out. So let's work that again. I've got this right here. I've got it over my left shoulder. I'm in a right front stance, and I'm going to outward figure eight. Raise up, feet are together, switch, left front stance, outward figure eight. Step forward, front strike, up again, together, out, left front stance, outward figure eight, front strike, raise it up, switch, all the way around the neck, up, over the left shoulder, feet together, here. So one more time, just that ending piece. So at the very end, we had that left outward, or the left forward stance, and I went outward figure eight with the left, front strike with the left, raise up, switch, around the neck, part one, underneath, up, switch, together, out. Again, left forward stance. Outward figure eight. Left, right, left front strike. Switch. Around the neck, part one. Catch, raise it up, switch, together, out. One more time. Left outward figure eight. Left front strike. Switch. Right side strike with around the neck, part one. Raise it up, front switch, here. Just like that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to just work on our around the neck, part one. So the combination is going to look like this. We're going to go with our side strike, around the neck, raise it up, front switch, around the neck. So we're just going to be alternating hands, basically, doing our around the neck, part one. So again, I raise it up, it's over my shoulder, side strike, bring it back around the back, around the neck, catch it under the arm, up, switch, side strike, around the neck, up, switch, side strike, around the back, around the neck, under, up, switch. Now keep going along with me. Strike, around the back, around the neck, under the arm, raise it up, switch, other side, same exact thing. I want to be able to see you flow constantly, just like this. As you catch it under, switch it, and then keep going. Same thing with the other side. Go as slow as you need to, or as fast as you can, either one. Just trying to get the motion down. Good. So now we're going to end the class with a little bit of freestyle. So I like to do this because, well, when I was training, it's one of the most fun things to do is just play around, see what you have. You can mess around all you want, switch however you want to switch, do whatever you feel like you can do. Just try not to keep it all on one side. So go ahead and just begin freestyling. Everything that you know up to this point, even things that you haven't seen me do, go ahead and try it. Maybe you want to do some rolls and you want to try to throw it up, whatever you want to do. Just practice, play around a little bit. If you drop it, which you probably will, don't worry about it. You might see me drop it sometimes, who knows. It's okay to make mistakes. Don't give up just because you made a mistake. That's a reason you should keep trying. If you make a mistake, you're like, okay, well, what do I need to do to improve it so that I don't make that again? Just keep flowing and try not to stay too still either with your footwork. Move around. Try to get comfortable with just being able to move while swinging the nunchucks around. It kind of feels a little awkward at first, but then when you start to get it, it's like, okay, well, why should I be standing still? Especially if, you know, it's a weapon. If you're using a weapon, you never stand still. Nunchucks, you can't stay still if you're sparring with them. You're going to be moving in and out really fast. If you try to stay still with it, it's not going to be a very effective weapon for you. Keep the flow going, try a few around the back, around the neck. Those are always fun ones. All right, guys. So feel free, keep freestyling. You should be, practicing as much as you can and as much as you want to with it. Don't stop just because the class is ending. Keep practicing anything that you need to work on. Have a great one.